Hi there, and a very warm welcome to day 10 of my detox challenge. A very warm welcome on a very chilly day. So if it is really chilly by you like it is here today, maybe do a couple of sun salutations or something just to get a little bit of heat and movement in the body so that this practice will be comfortable for you. If you're warm and feeling comfortable already, then great, you can just dive right in. Okay, from here, we're just going to take a couple of moments just to center ourselves and to get into the right mind space for this practice. I want you to bring your thumb and index fingers together and turn the palms to the ceiling. Let your shoulders relax down. When you're ready, you can gently close your eyes. And as soon as you do that, open your mouth a little bit so that the jaw can soften. Begin to relax the inner corners of the eyes, the outer corners of the eyes, the skin between the eyebrows. Let your forehead soften, temples soften, and relax deep inside your inner ears. Without changing anything about the breath, I just want you to notice it come and go. To you just as a silent, non-participating observer. Being interested in the breath. But not changing it. So as we come into this practice today with the intention to let go of something, to release, be really mindful. Observe any sensations that arise and respond mindfully to those sensations. So our spine, as our main energy channel, is so precious. Our main support system, our central nervous system, for so many different reasons. So it's not one that we should dive head in. So it's not one that we should approach aggressively, but rather look for a slow and beautiful opening. Take a deep breath in and lengthen the spine. And on your exhalation, you can open your eyes and relax. So we're going to start off actually with a pose that looks like it's nothing to do with our back. But we're going to begin to open the front of the thighs because they're really involved actually in the opening of the muscles of the back. So this is a little bit of a mean one to start you off on because it can feel a little bit uncomfortable. So I've got here a blanket and 2 blocks. You don't necessarily need blocks or blankets, but you can have some towels or something so that you can offer your body some cushioning and some support. So you may or may not need them, but good to have something on hand. So I'm going to lay down here on the mat, and I'm just going to step my feet about mat distance apart. And then I'm just going to let my knees go over to one side. Just flop them over to one side. And then I'm going to catch this foot, so my knees have gone over to my left. I'm going to catch my right foot and I'm going to start to draw the foot towards me. So some of you might feel this here and need to hold onto the foot and just begin to gently release the knee down. Right, some of you might be up here and it might feel quite intense already. Right, some of you, if you're a little bit more open, might actually be able to turn onto the top of that foot, so it's a bit more like a half Virasana, hero pose. And then of course, if that feels a little bit tough on your foot there, especially if your foot's cold like mine, you might want to put a little bit of padding under there. So wherever you are in this, whatever angle your foot needs to be at, you should be able to feel this pretty strongly through the front of the quadricep there. And then from here, decide whether that feels enough. If your knee is up in the air like this, there is another option to bring your other foot on top and then just let the weight of that leg draw it down. Okay, you can see how that feels. Mine's already pretty much down, so I don't really need to do that. And then just remember, as we come into this pose, we're looking for a place where we can stay for a little while that feels comfortable, or discomfort, but manageable discomfort, not too much. And then you can do whatever you like with your arms, but I find it nice to put my arms up over my head, maybe take one hand around the opposite wrist so I get a little bit of shoulder opening there. And you can rock your head side to side and just see where it wants to be. So anything that you're doing in your upper body is not going to affect the stretch in the front of the thigh. So you just want to be comfortable. And then from here, I just want you to come back to your breath and back to your 4-part breathing. Inhaling, letting the breath just flood in. Pause. Exhaling, letting the exhalation wash anything out. And pause. And we'll stay here for about a minute, quiet and calm. Okay, begin to flutter your eyes open if they're closed. Release your arms down. You're going to use your hand if you need to free up that leg. And then stretch both legs out. Adjust as you need to there. And then let's bend both legs and go to the other side. So you're just going to lift the hips for a moment, tuck the tailbone and roll back down so the low back is happy. So feet hip distance apart. This time I'm going to take my knees over to the right. I'm going to grab hold of my left foot and I'm going to start to draw the left foot in. So remember, you can be on the side of the foot. You can even just still hold the foot if you need the cushioning of your hands. If you need to hold your foot off the floor, that's totally fine. And if you can, if you're a little bit more open, then you might be on the top of the foot. So remember, you've got a towel or blanket so you can make your foot comfortable. So the sensation of bones, especially in cold feet, pressing into the floor is not going to benefit you. Okay, then from here, if this knee is up way high and you want to get a little bit more juice out of the pose, you can bring your right foot up and let that draw the leg down. If your leg's already on the floor, then you may not need that. Okay, then find a comfortable position for your hands. Close your eyes, feel your body completely surrendering into the floor, into the shape of the pose. Stay connected to your breath for the next minute. Begin to flutter the eyes open. Release your arms. Support your leg as you release it, and then stretch both legs out, one at a time. Press into your heels. Reach into your fingertips. Get really long there. Full stretch. You can point your toes and then flex your feet. And then circle the arms round. Carefully bend your knees. Roll over to one side. And slowly come on up. Good. Okay, we're going to come onto your hands and knees now. So again, I want you to be supported and be comfortable. I'm going to have my knees up on this blanket here. And my knees are a good hip distance apart, toes untucked. And then I'm just going to bring my hands down onto the mat. So I'm going to start to lift up from the low belly so that my lower back is supported here. I'm just going to walk the knees back a little bit so I have some space. And then from here, I'm going to start to walk my hands out. So if you've got shoulder problems, you might want to bring your forearms down here and even do it from here. Right, see how it feels. But if you can, you're going to continue to stretch your arms out and see if you can bring either your forehead down or your chin down. So here I'm trying to keep the hips over the line of the knee. So I'm not coming forwards here. I'm trying to keep it back. You want your hands to be a little bit maybe wider than shoulder distance apart. And you can rest your forearms down. But try to find the space that feels good for you. You can even turn your chin on the floor and look forwards and then gently close the eyes. And then see if you can just begin to melt the center of the heart down towards the mat. So as I inhale, I'm filling up, pausing, exhale, letting go, particularly the center of the chest, melting down. I'm going to stay here for a few more breaths. And then to come up, turn your forehead down. You're going to start to walk your hands in and then slowly walk your hands back towards you. Sit back onto your heels, stretch your arms out and give yourself a big hug. Good, stretch out to the sides and hug in the opposite direction. Very nice, and just roll the shoulders out there. So that is one. It's called Anahastasana, heart opening pose, and it's really good to start to get into these band of muscles that go underneath the shoulder blades and that tension that we hold there. And it might be that it feels really quite intense to begin with, but over time and the more that you practice it, the longer you can stay and the more opening you can feel. So often in that one I feel like a warmth that comes through my chest and through my upper back, which is really nice. Okay, so now we're going to come into a little bit of a reclined twist. So you can have blankets or you can have your blocks. See what you might need as we come into this one. Okay, so you're just going to lay down comfortably and draw your knees into your chest. So if you know that you've got quite a niggly low back, I just want you to press your feet away from you, stretch your arms out to the side, and then gently let your knees go over to the right and support both your feet and your knees with something if you feel like you need to. So here you could have some books or some blocks, right? And what you're trying to get is that the opposite shoulder and shoulder blade can relax down onto the floor. So if your shoulder and shoulder blade is happily down on the floor without any support, then that's great and that's fine. Okay? If you're a little bit more open in your back, what you're going to do is press your feet away from you, cross your left leg over your right, and then begin to take the knees over. So that will turn it into a little bit more of an intense stretch. And then again, you can feel free to support your legs, your knees in any way that you feel like you need to. And then you're going to simply turn your head in the opposite direction to your knees. It might be nice there to gently turn the head side to side, just to ease out the sides of the neck. And then I want you just to stay there. Work with your breath and continue to completely surrender into this shape. Notice if there's anywhere along the back or along the spine that you can really feel this. As you inhale, draw the arrows of your attention to those areas that you're really feeling it. And on your exhalation, let go, soften. See if your inhale can create a little bit of space in those areas, and your exhale can relax into that space. We'll stay here for 1 more minute. Take a deep breath in. On your exhalation, turn your head back to center. Take another deep breath in. On your exhalation, draw your knees back to center. Just center your hips. If your legs are wrapped, unwrap them. Come back to center. Lift the hips just a little way. Pull the front of the pelvis up and then roll the lower back down onto the floor. So again, the same options. You're going to lift your feet up, press your feet away from you, arms out to the side. You can simply take your knees over to the side like that, or you're going to wrap your right leg over your left. And then from there, begin to take the knees over to the left. Support yourself however you need to so that it feels good and positive for your body. And then turn your head in the opposite direction to your knees. Make any last little adjustments that you need to. Close your eyes and then begin to turn your head side to side, just easing out the sides of the neck, letting the weight of the head go. And then when you've found your place here, work with your breath and remain here peaceful, calm, relaxed for the next minute. a deep breath in. On your exhalation, draw your head back to center. Deep breath in, exhale, draw your knees back to center. You can uncross your legs there. And then from here, just center your hips, press down into your feet, lift your hips up, tuck the tailbone and then roll back down. Good, then bring your palms onto the floor. Take a deep breath in. On your exhalation, begin to lift the pelvis, lift the front of the thighs, begin to roll towards the tops of the shoulders. This doesn't have to be the most intense back bend you've ever done. We're going to take a deep breath there, really slowly rolling down from the top of the spine, one vertebrae at a time. Begin to roll down. You've really got to tuck the pelvis so that the tailbone can be the last thing to come down. That should feel really nice. Pause for a moment. Inhale. On your exhalation, press into the feet. Begin to roll back up. One vertebrae at a time. So really try to feel that you're rolling up and down the spine. Inhale, exhale, slowly back down. And you can take a few breaths to do this. But see if you can actually be mindful and feel each vertebrae as they touch down onto the floor. Relax for a moment. We'll do that one more time. Should feel really good. Take a deep breath in. On your exhalation, slowly peeling your back away from the floor. Inhale at the top. And as you exhale, peeling back down. Relax for a moment, and then take your palms and press your palms into your thighs. So you're imagining pressing your femur bones away from you. And you should be able to feel that the spine traction's there. A little bit more length through the spine, but don't hold your breath here. Keep breathing easily. Beautiful. And release. Okay, from there you're going to stretch your arms out, stretch your legs out. If that feels like it's too much, straight after moving into the spine, feel free to have your feet wide and your knees knocking in. So that feels actually better for me right now. But wherever you feel comfortable for the last few minutes here in Shavasana, notice how you're feeling right now. See if there's any little movements that you need to take. And whatever shape your arms and legs are in, can you feel that they are symmetrical? Left to right, right to left. Can you let your bones drop heavily into the floor? And can you soften your flesh, skin, muscles, inner organs, all of your connective tissue? Can you surrender everything for the next couple of minutes? you're going to begin to gather your knees up into your chest, pull them in tightly, and then lift your head and take your forehead towards your knees. Take a deep breath there, and on your exhalation, release. You can rock side to side or circle the knees, whatever feels good for you. And then when you're ready, roll over to one side. With the least amount of effort possible, press yourself back to an upright position. Sit in any comfortable upright position. Bring your palms together at your heart. Take a deep breath in, lengthen the spine, feel the energy through the spine that you've created. On your exhalation, bow to your heart. May the mind always be the servant to the heart. Namaste.